Hello and welcome to the Happy Hour Hustle podcast with our host, Kim Bodie.
I am absolutely thrilled to be chatting with you.
Principal and fearless leader of 834 Integrated Communication. On this podcast, you're going to learn a lot about a lot, like public relations, marketing, digital, and advertising.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Forgive us if you hear some dogs in the background. We are obsessed with them, and there is a medium-sized pack at the office at all times.
Fantastic.
So grab a glass of wine, preferably one with ice in it, and learn a little something today.
Here we are. It's another happy hour hustle. You know, I don't know that we've ever truly explained why we call it happy hour hustle. I'm not sure I actually know why we call it happy hour. We love happy hours and we love hustling. So I feel like those two things together, and also happy hours make us want to hustle. And
True.
you can drink no matter the time of day. So
true.
we were just talking about margaritas, weren't we, Amberly?
Yes, spicy margaritas. Don't get it twisted.
Right. Let's talk real quick about that before we talk about anti-resolutions, which kind of actually goes into it because, you know, everybody does dry January, which is horseshit. So, all right. Spicy margaritas. Explain this to me.
Okay. I don't make my own spicy margaritas. If I want one, it's my sister's recipe. All I know is that she uses jalapenos. She cooks up a syrup on the stove. And that's it. Like, it's the most delicious thing ever. You put like that.
That's it.
Whatever.
She cooks the syrup up on the stove. And you're like, oh, that's it. It's so simple.
I swear.
That's not simple.
I mean, obviously you put tequila and then you have that like syrup that you make. Then you put that stuff on the rim and it's gorgeous. And then every time you go
stuff on
out,
the rim, isn't that called salt? Wow, you really are not a margarita expert. I should not have interviewed you at all.
I know I am not the expert in this. All I know is that they're delicious and I will drink how many are in front of me, but it's not salt on the rim. It's like tahini.
Say what now?
Is that what it's called?
Again? What?
It's like, I swear.
It's like spicy salt, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it's kind of it's got it looks colored, right? Because I've had it before, I think. Yeah. So it's not orange. Okay. It's like it's got speckles in it, so it's like to tell you that it's hot.
I feel like this is such an uncultured conversation we're having right now.
I know somebody who really loves margaritas is going to write us a really nasty note. I hope they mail it to us because I love handwritten notes. Okay, but seriously though, before we go into anti-resolutions, Emma, what is your favorite margarita?
That is so funny because I was just going to say, are you guys salt or sugar people? I have to say, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with either like a classic marg or like a hibiscus, like fun.
The fancy syrup in it.
Yep, prickly pear with a salt rim. I believe in salt, no sugar.
So interesting, because I used to be like no salt in the rim. And then if I had like, you know, like a hibiscus or something, I would want sugar. I am 100% salt now. Like, and Paloma is my favorite. I love Palomas. I am very particular about how they're made. Butcher's Union, probably hands down, makes the best Paloma I've ever had. Oh, they started to kind of pre-make them, and I think that might be impacting the flavor a little bit. But the other great margarita that I've had is a mango, and I had that at Luna. And I've had mango margaritas in other places, and it is a fine line between too sweet and like not flavorful enough, and they do it perfectly. I have spent many a day, probably day, turned into night at Luna, enjoying their margaritas, which you can get in a pitcher, and it is amazing. Amazing.
I think we found our next happy hour spot.
We did. Today, if anybody want to join us. Actually, yes, please. Like whenever this publishes, we will also be there and you can just wait for us. Like actually we'll be there before you, let's be honest. So
yeah.
Okay. So I would say, mango, Paloma. I do like a classic margarita too. Mm-hmm. I do not like when people use sweet and sour mix. It first of all, it hurts your stomach. And I mean, it's different if they make it like, okay, so Reserve makes their own sweet, like kind of, and it's made out of lime juice. Like that's really what it should be. That's your like sour that should be in there. And Reserve makes a phenomenal margarita. I know most people think wine, which I have gone there and drank my plenty of that. But it is absolutely makes a phenomenal classic margarita. So now I've given you 3 places to go.
I know. I'm like, let me write that down.
I know. Please write it down. Butcher's Union for a Paloma, Classic Mar, go to Reserve, and Mango
Luna.
At Luna. So, and people say
Awesome.
Donkeys is really great. I haven't been that impressed. That's probably an unpopular opinion. Gonna get a really mean note for that too. So anyway,
No hate
we're
mail
talking
today.
anti-resolutions. Okay. This is like a lot of people look to the beginning of the year. They're like, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to change all these things. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to suddenly become like a gym rat and like, you know, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to drink and whatever. This is incredibly damaging to your mental health, to, well, just happiness in general. Like, why? So I would like to get you guys' opinions, I think, a little bit on that, because I have been very anti-resolution for a long time. I think it's great to set goals for the year. Like, I'd love to read this many books, or, you know, I'd like to, I don't know. I mean, and it's not that you can't set health goals, but like when people set resolutions that are absolutely not realistic, they set resolutions that are like, you've never done this the last 42 years of your life. Why in the hell do you think you're suddenly going to accomplish it now? Because the year's changing.
And we must know that the holidays, although cheery and fun, they're also stressful. It's like deviated from the norm. So then you're trying to make all of these changes after you've had like a mini vacay, like some time off. It just doesn't, it's not reasonable. Yeah, so I'm team with you.
Also, like, I feel as if people fall into like the New Year's resolution kind of scheme of things because they're looking at influencers who don't work normal jobs and who could actually wake up to like work out before, I don't know, their beautiful breakfast that they're making and documenting. So you see that and it's like, oh, I want to be healthy and I want to do that. But then you look at your actual life and it's like, I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. to do yoga and eat like a big breakfast before work. Like, you can't do that. It's not realistic.
And I know people think you should eat breakfast in the morning. I know I never do. I just don't. I don't have my first, probably I like to eat lunch so early, but I don't touch food until like noon. And I know everyone's like passing out right now listening to this, but like I just feel like you see social media is incredibly damaging and you see how people portray their lives. It is absolutely not realistic, but yet we tend to just take that as the absolute truth, and that 100% will seep into like, you know, like resolution land. I don't know why I called it that, but whatever. I mean, so my big thing is here we are going to talk anti-resolution. So instead of try January, we're going to do what?
Drink more.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Now, okay, so we're not like, you know, we're not trying to encourage alcoholism, but schedule more happy hours. Like, you know, if you have any sort of like restraint, which none of us here do, then have a couple cocktails, but then take that time to reconnect with people.
Yes.
Like, you know, like go and have a glass of wine someplace, or like once a month I do happy hour with 2 of my girlfriends. So honestly, the only time we see each other or really get to chat. And we go to Reserve. We see Christopher, our favorite waiter, which by the way, if you go there, you must absolutely ask for him and tell him Kim sent you. The very loud one that puts ice in her red wine. He'll know right away. And we sit there and we just catch up and we talk about like, how's life going? Like, you know, like the things that you can only really do with your girlfriends. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like you can have a significant other and they're all great and everything, you know, life partner, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But like the bond that females have, or the bond that you have with a truly good friend, that will never take the place of, you know, your husband or your significant other, your partner is never going to take the place of that. That's also probably another unpopular opinion. We should actually call this podcast Kim's Unpopular Opinions. So
Yes.
anti-resolution crossed out, Kim's Unpopular Opinions. So, but yes, so schedule more happy hours.
Yeah.
Anti-resolution 1. Now, what's the other thing that people always say? Oh, we must eat better and cut out the carbs and blah, blah, blah. So I I would also like to object and say, instead of doing that, we're going to do what, Amberly?
Eat more.
Let's be specific here. What are you going to eat more of?
Carbs. We're going to be loading up on the carbs. Also, I do want to chime in here because one of the New Year's resolutions that I made for myself fits this category. So Wingstop has 12 different flavors of their chicken sandwiches. So every month of this year, I will be going to Wingstop and trying out one of their chicken sandwiches flavors. So I'm like spinning a wheel so that it determines what flavor I'm trying each month. And chicken sandwiches are not good for you, but it's going to be the vibe because that's what we're
Even
doing.
though they're chicken. Okay, what is Wingstop?
You've never heard of Wingstop?
No. Wingstop.
Wingstop.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're
Yes.
enunciating. No, I've never heard of it. What is it?
It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like a wing
Like
store.
Buffalo
like,
Wild Wings, but like better.
Where is it?
the closest one here is in Wyoming. So that's
Okay.
like, I will be taking a drive to get there to do this.
Okay.
This is what my first one I got was, it's like right by my house in Illinois. So
Okay. Wingstop, all the chicken sandwiches. Got it.
yes.
Emma.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I'm not making this like a hard goal for myself because we're just being open to new ideas, whatever, not making these resolutions. But I want to have more meals that are like a meal. Like I feel like I make pasta a lot or something easy, but I need a little side salad. I need a little potato,
Yep.
you know? So that's the food I'm going to be eating. I want more sides.
More of a balanced
Yes.
meal. Like I made like a lot of times I'll make chicken and then I do Brussels sprouts, and I make Brussels sprouts like you can make them in the air fryer and that's all great. I personally am all oven Brussels sprouts. So I'll cut them up, and I don't cut them in half. I cut them in like quarters. Like,
Wow.
I cut them pretty small, and then I toss them in olive oil, a little bit of Montreal seasoning, and then I put a little bit of like a bunch of garlic on it, obviously, and then I bake it, and it usually takes about 25-30 minutes for it to be a decent crispy, not overdone. And then I put it in a bowl, sriracha, honey, goat cheese,
Stop.
a little bit of salt, mix that all up. I am telling you right now, magic. And it heats up really well. So great side dish. So
I want it.
yes. And we actually do have a blog coming up, which is easy meals for the busy professional, and crock pot, air fryer.
Game changing.
That's all you need.
I need.
Okay. So, all right. So another thing people like to cut out is caffeine. And I think that's stupid. If you take away my single reason for getting up in the morning, I will stab you.
As you should.
Literally. I have to smell that coffee. Like, Josh sets it the night before. I have to smell it for me to move.
Yeah.
For there to be movement. People would probably think I'm dead. But then I smell the coffee and I come alive. Favorite caffeinated drink?
Okay.
You already know we're on that shaken espresso grind here.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're here, Tim obviously is obsessed along with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And no, it's not our fault. Maybe it is. I'm going to have to go with the brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso from Starbucks every single time. Well, depending on the barista back there, it can be a little different, but it hits.
Agree.
Yeah.
Like I do the venti ice shaken espresso with oat milk, which, because basic bitches are we. And there will be times where I think they don't put the classic syrup in, or they don't get all the pumps. And so then it literally just tastes like an iced coffee. Or like they don't fill it fully. Remember that time I got like that one that was not filled all the way, and I tweeted to Starbucks? They never responded, but I was very angry about it.
I think when I left, literally I picked it up and Loren and I were like, this will not do.
But then you just gave it to me anyway, just to see what happened. All right, Amberly, favorite caffeinated drink?
My favorite, okay, here's my thing. I'm Little Miss Anxiety when it comes to ordering things. So especially Starbucks, I was a diehard Dunkin' Donuts fan, and I would always just get a caramel iced coffee. So when I started going to Starbucks, I was just like, caramel iced coffee, please. And they're like, do you want the classic caramel syrup? And I'm like, yes, like, is that why? Like, I don't know. Starbucks just confuses me, so I still will always just get a
It's
caramel iced
intimidating.
coffee. Yes, there's just so much, and I'm like, honestly, just pick for me. Like, I'm so sorry I'm here and like getting a coffee. Just do whatever you want.
This is why you use the app. It's magical. The order ahead app. I still don't understand people that will go and will wait in line. What are you, peasants?
It's
Like,
Okay, but
2023.
come on.
also, yes, but with that app, because I did use it once, and my coffee ended up being like $12 because I didn't realize they don't show when they're gonna add additional charges for things. So I was like, ooh, yes, I'm gonna
They
add
do.
this
They
syrup.
do. I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure this
know.
was user error.
It could have
Like, and this is coming from the person who has literally ordered a Starbucks from Uber Eats because I didn't want to go and pick it up. And I paid $15 for a $5 drink just so I did not have to leave my house. And that is the energy I am bringing into
Yes, more of
2023.
that.
So thank you. Okay. Now we're going to talk our top 3 goals because mincing words, whatever, we do always set goals for 2023. So one of mine is to make sleep a priority. I love naps. Love them. Sunday, I took a 2-hour nap. And then I was like, I should just stay here and sleep forever. I did not. It is hard to get up after that long of a nap. I think that's why they recommend it's like a 30-minute and then you move on. Anyways, so make sleep a priority because you are no good to anybody else if you are fucking tired and you are like just drained.
Yeah.
So, Amberly,
my 2023 goal. I really just want to start gaining more confidence in myself and like especially with my career just because I am a senior in college right now. So being a young professional is fucking hard. Like I don't think we talk about that enough and we should. And I think every student right now kind of relates to that. You are constantly in a battle with yourself of like, should I speak up on this? Should I not because I'm not overly qualified? But at the end of the day, like we are in the classroom, like we're learning these recent things and we should be proud of what we're
yep.
learning and the experiences that we have. And that's what I'm like constantly trying to give myself and like positive affirmations for myself is my goal for this year for sure.
That's imposter syndrome. You know,
Yeah.
you got to kick imposter syndrome's ass, and that doesn't go away. I am 43 years old, and every day I think somebody's going to figure out I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, like, and we all suffer from it. It's not just females, it's men. But what it doesn't do for men is typically hold them back. They're just like, yeah, imposter syndrome, whatever. I'm not qualified for this job. I'll apply for it anyway. Whereas, like, we overthink everything. And sometimes it's better just to take that step, you know, just like, so that is a great one. Positive affirmation, remembering that you're better than you think you are, and punching that inner voice in your head. Because that's not your friend. That inner voice is a dick. So
You heard it here first.
all right, Emma.
My goal is to make less commitments. I love the people in my life, I really do, but I have a tendency to bog myself down with plans, and then I can't. I just can't. And then I'm not giving myself the love I need. I'm not giving, you know what I mean? Like I'm too frazzled. I don't want to be frazzled anymore. I want to be at peace. And so I listened to this podcast and this lady was like, just don't make plans. Just don't. If I want to, I can reach out. If something happens and it falls into my lap and it works out, perfect. But I don't need to stress myself out, or the people I love for that matter. So yeah.
Well, and then you end up, you know, like for me, what I got to the point where I just was like, just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I would be like, I made this plan. I don't want to do it because the day of you always feel differently than the day you made the plans.
Yep.
So that is great to say no more. Just say no.
Yes.
I'm not gonna, you know, when we get to it the day of, maybe I'll change my mind, but I'm not making that commitment now. And that's good.
Yes.
It's really good because then you give so much of yourself, it drains you. So
exactly. And even when it's like people, like I said, I love my friends, but I just, you're choosing between a good thing and a good thing sometimes, you know?
Yep.
And so I'm working on that.
On Instagram, I did see something. I follow so many therapists,
Me
like
too.
advice giving. And one of them was like, if someone comes to you with a plan, instead of saying yes right away, because that's what I always do. I'm like, yes, absolutely. I want to see you, blah, blah. Be like, this sounds like a lovely idea. Let me come back to this and I'll let you know if I have like the capacity for it.
Perfect.
So getting into the habit of like saying that instead of saying yes right away, I think is going to be life changing.
Yes, 100%. Agreed. I feel supported in this space.
And that's what this podcast is all about. I will say another thing from my multiple years is writing is an outlet for me. It always has been. It doesn't mean all the writing that you do has to see the light of day, but I have a journal. I also I ordered something I saw on Instagram. It's called a grievances journal.
Ooh.
And it like prompts you with all these very sarcastic questions that like are perfect. Like, you know, who would you punch in the face today? And then that's like your writing prompt. I just use that. I don't know if that's actually one, but I do think, you know, it doesn't matter how many people you talk to. It doesn't matter if you see a therapist. It doesn't matter if you talk to your friends. It doesn't matter if you talk to your significant other. You have to get your thoughts out of you, and you have got to figure out a way to do that, like, so it doesn't eat you alive. And good thoughts, bad thoughts, like thoughts that you never want anybody else to see, but you know that you have to get them out. I mean, writing is an outlet for me. That's really, really important. So I'm trying to make that a priority along with reading, doing more reading. And I always feel guilty because I love history. I love all of that stuff, but that's just depressing. And so sometimes I'll just read like a fantasy book or a romance book. And I don't tell people about it because I feel I'm like, that doesn't really count. I read this past weekend 5 books. 5 books. Yeah.
Girl.
But they were like fantasy / romance / and I was like, no one can know I read these. Oh my God, Bodhi, why does that matter? Like, oh, it was a romance. Will that somehow impact your like your whole like persona that you project? Like, who cares? You know what? Sometimes I watch Hallmark movies.
Period.
Love.
And there is power in, I think, reclaiming basic things like Starbucks. It's good. Or like, I love Taylor Swift. That's basic, but I love her. So like, you can fuck off. Like, I didn't ask for your opinion. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel that.
You were a Swiftie for a long ass time. So if anyone tries to take that away from you, just punch them in the face.
Exactly. And I can still, and like, I can still be, well, I guess I'm not necessarily edgy, but like, I can still have edgy parts of me just because I like Taylor Swift. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Hello.
You are not, the only person that puts you in a box is yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like romance sometimes.
Yeah.
I like reading about some of those sex scenes. I find them fascinating.
Too good. Like, we need
You know
more.
what? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm not ashamed of that. Please edit this out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, everyone. We're not editing it out. But okay, what are we reclaiming in 2023? And then we'll wrap this up.
Ooh. Being yourself, like being proud of who you are, embracing the little, I think something that I really love about younger generations is that we have our own little like hobbies that traditionally would get like people would get like made fun of them for. Like I have 5 mice in my room right now, like pet mice. Like I have a hamster tattooed on my body. So like those are like, I don't know, I go crazy for my hobbies. And I feel like that is something that I love about myself, and people around me are starting to be like, actually, I really do respect that about you. So just embracing what you love, being proud of it. You don't have to get a tattoo of it like me, but you can just give it your all.
Love it. I think on that note, I'm going to reclaim the power I've given over people in the sense of like caring what they think, basically. Like, once again, this podcast lady I was listening to who was talking about the commitments and stuff, she's like, regardless of what you say, someone is going to have an opinion of it. And like, they're formulating their own perception of you and what you said through their own lens. And you literally cannot control that. And so I think having like recognizing that and then just being like, okay, whatever I say, like that's on them for what they think. You know what I mean?
So yes. Yes. I know exactly what you're saying. That hits hard.
It does, right? We got age, we have like what everybody else thinks. And I think like there's a theme here. I'm reclaiming love of my body.
Love that.
That is, you know, I'm 43 years old, and you know, things sag and things wrinkle, and you don't fit into those size 4s anymore, but you still keep trying. And I just need to give myself some grace. I need to love my body regardless of the size it is, regardless of the wrinkles or like the saggy eyelids. Like it sounds so funny, but you know, like you're so hard on yourself, and it's like society tells you you should look a certain way, and fuck them, because you are beautiful, and regardless of your size, and you can rock any style you want, you can wear what you want, you can, like, you know, and like that's what matters. Like you have got to cut yourself some slack. You've got to love yourself, because you know what, like people will always critique you. You'll always have that one friend that's like going to be skinnier than you. You're always going to have that one friend that has like perfect fucking skin, talking about you, Adrian. Like, you know, and I mean, and then you're 44, 43, however old I am, and you're still breaking out. And, you know, you're still like, you know, you're dealing with like, so it's okay. It's okay. Like, you know what? Like the bodies that we have, they're all we get.
Yeah.
So love them and love what it gives you, and love, you know, love like the ability, like, you know, like you're walking around, you're like, you know, like, so I think it's really hard. I don't think that it's just a female thing. I don't think it's just a gender thing, I guess you could say. Like, it's something I've struggled with for a really, really long time. I hate pictures taken of myself, because I feel like I always look fat. And, you know, like that's just so silly. Like, you know, you're missing out on these major things to these major things in your life because you just don't want to be in a photo. Like I had an aunt that was like that. There are literally no photos of her from my youth. That's sad. So I'm reclaiming love of my body. Actually, I'm just going to claim it, because I can tell you what, like when I was 20 and I weighed like nothing, I didn't like my body then either. So I am going to love this body that I'm in. I'm going to also encourage other females and other people to also love their body. And that's it. Not resolutions, but goals.
Yes.
Our
I
life
love
mottos.
these. I'm ready.
Yeah. So
I feel like we just had a support group here.
We really did. We I know, like if someone did not get anything out of this, that is on them. Also, feel free to write us a nice note about how great this podcast was. We'll take that too.
Yes. And that is also I feel like this shows the power of vulnerability. Like, I feel like I learned something about both of you. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I love romance and fantasy. And that's the first time I've ever said that out loud. And it was recorded. Look at us.
And we're not
deleting. You're so brave. Yes,
I'm so brave. So brave. Some people have real issues. I'm like, do I tell people that I sometimes read romance novels? I don't know. One time Josh got me for Christmas. It was like, who's that Nicholas Sparks?
Nicholas Sparks, yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched that book because all of his books have a death in it, and I don't read them for that. I don't read it for the sadness, man. Like if I'm gonna read a romance novel, it better be unicorns and rainbows, and that's all I want in there. So, you know, and a couple good sex scenes. So anyway, all right. In conclusion, thanks for listening to Happy Hour Hustle as we have another fantastic therapy session. We would love to hear your anti-resolutions or your goals. So send them in.
Yes,
give them to us. Tweet us.
Yes.
Facebook us. TikTok us. We're going to be doing the TikTok. That's why I hire people that are younger than me and cooler. So anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you, Amberly and Emma, for being our amazing guests. And we'll see you on the download. I was just giving myself a standing ovation before I started.